Hello and welcome to the session. Today we are going to discuss some of the topics in national income, the second chapter in economics, Tamil Nadu syllabus. Before sessions we were discussing about what is national income and what are the basic concepts are there in national income and some of the methods which are used for calculating national income we have discussed in previous sessions, so you can go through that videos. And now today we are going to discuss about importance of national income. So importance of national income, so why we need national income, what are the where it is needed. The national income is like where the macroeconomical activities has been taken place, and the planning and activity and whatever the analysis you can with use of this national income you can just judge that whether it is effective or not. If it is increasing, the national income is increasing, it automatically increase the national welfare as well. So it develops the economy. The economical growth is forming part of this national income. You can just say that if your national income is here, your growth is also higher the rate. Okay, so here today we are going to discuss about importance of national income. The first point is related to importance of national income is relative importance of various sectors. So we know that national income is like calculating different various sectors, their own contribution towards the income of the nation. So as a whole economy we are going to calculate, right? So that particular sector wise you will get some relative importance. Okay, so say for example if our agriculture sector is contributing towards the national income, like say for example at 26% or 25%, so the contribution of agriculture sector in terms of percentage you can come to know out of this national income. And various other sectors like industries and communication and IT, information technology and infrastructure and various other sectors are there, even service sectors and this other than service sectors, all innovative like your research and development department will also be contributing towards your national income, because you will be introducing or innovating something new to the economy and it also adds on your national income. So this is what the relative importance of various sectors. So each and every sectors, what is their own contribution towards the national income and the growth of the economy. Then moving on to the second point, to formulate national policy. So in macroeconomy we are studying national economical activities as a whole, right? So in order to frame a policy related to monetary policy, whether it may be a monetary policy or fiscal policy or some other policy, like recent days we have got this educational policy, it also depends on this national income. So based on your performance, so you can evaluate, right? So this to formulate national policies out of your variables which are available in your macroeconomy. With use of that you will be finding out all the sectorial contribution, and also you will come to know what is the particular sector is contributing towards the national income. Based on that you will be framing some policy which is effective to increase the production or output, and that will finally result you to give a maximum of national income. Okay, so moving on to this third point is to plan and evaluate. So if you are planning something like a new projects or whatever as an economy in the various sectors, you should have this national income as a indicators. Okay, so if you plan and implement it, you will analyze out of this national income performance. If it is in a higher case, you will just know that the plan is effective. So you can also plan and evaluate with use of this national income, because in terms of monetary values you are calculating it. Okay, then moving on to this, to build economical models, as we studied in the previous lesson, macroeconomy, introduction to macroeconomy, you have come to this term economic model. So this economist uses these models to explain us what is happening in the current economy and what are the activities are prevailing in our economy and their related like the relativeness with the other variables, economic variables like population, employment and all stuff. So you can come to know What is the economical model of an economist? So economist uses this national income. With use of this national income calculation, you can come to know the various sectorial and variables activities are prevailing in our economy. So with use of that activities, the economists will frame the economic models. As we know that economic model is the simpler way of explaining what is happening in our economy, the economical activities by economists, various economists. Okay, the financial analyst or the economist uses this economical model to just elaborate in a simpler way. People like us will understand what is happening in our country. So then to make international comparison, so we as a nation in macroeconomical sense will be framing this national income, calculating this national income. So in order to compare us with the other countries like developed countries or still developing countries who are like competitors to us, and you can compare those national income with our own national income. Even our regional income is also will be considered, and those international comparison will be made with use of this indicator in national income calculation. And to know about the country's per capita income, so this is the main part. So last session we were discussing about how to calculate per capita income. So in order to know this per capita income, you need to know per capita income is equal to national income divided by population. So with use of our national income, you can come to know what is a current per capita income. So per capita income is equal to national income divided by population. With use of our national income, you can get to know what is the average per capita income of a economy. Then to know the distribution of income, so which sector is contributing much more than the other sector, just a comparison between the each and every sector. Recent days service sector has been contributing more than the other sectors. It contributes around 56 a certain percentage to the national, towards the national income. So likewise agriculture sector will contribute a certain percentage, and even this IT sector comes under service sector. Overall together as a service sector, it just contributes 56.6%. And if you see this production sector, manufacturing sector, so each and every sectors will be contributing towards the national income. So to know what is the actual distribution and which sector is doing good, and you can also rate the performance of each and every sectors prevailing in our economy. Then moving on to the last point, to arrive at the many macroeconomical variables. So macroeconomical variables we have studied in the first lesson, macroeconomy, introduction to macroeconomy. Economical variables are all these: GDP, current account deficit, financial deficit, nothing but fiscal deficit, debt, GDP ratio. These all the things comes under macroeconomical variable. So what is this tax GDP ratio? Whatever the tax is paid to the government, so based on that particular tax will be considered based on this GDP ratio. Then this current account deficit is nothing but total number of goods and services has been exported to the other country minus total number of goods has been imported to our own country. That gives you current account transactions. Your deficit, in the sense the import will be more than your export, so that's why it's called as current account deficit. So if your import is more than your export, it will be termed as current account deficit. If it is more than your less than your export, it comes under current account surplus. So those activities will be arrived. Okay, So then this fiscal deficit is nothing but the government payments and receipts. If your payments are more than your receipts, will be considered as fiscal deficit. And moving on to this debt is nothing but your credits, okay, all your government loans and all stuff, whatever is borrowed from other country or even other even from people are getting, like government is getting from other accounts, other countries account, okay, through way of by means of WHO and all stuff will be there. So those organization will be contributing to our government. And also the debts within our country, okay, what are the debts? Government will also have some debts within our country, so those debts will be terms of ratio will be arrived in by way of macroeconomical variables. The next we are going to discuss about what are the difficulties are faced in measuring national income. So before we were seeing importance, now the difficulties, of course there will be some difficulties in measuring national income. So first difficulty is transfer payment. Transfer payment is nothing but the subsidies, all the benefits of government and social benefits, social securities, pension, unemployment, salaries, those things will comes under transfer payment, and that transfer payment won't be forming part of this national income just because it's not out of the production process. So whatever is comes out of the production process will be considered in terms of national income, but here you should avoid this transfer payment. For that you will be having facing some difficulties because those payments will be in a higher way, because pensions and all stuff will be like paid for after a long period of time. Once you are getting retired, you get paid the pension and this salary and all stuff. So those incomes won't be considered in terms of transfer payment. And then moving on to the second difficulty is to assessing the depreciation allowances. Whatever the wear and tear out of the assets, all the capital goods will be considered under this depreciation and allowances. And while calculating this depreciation, you will be facing some problems like assessing what is happened, because just because of accidental damages might be there, and fire, like some other damages will be there, and some capacity loss will be there. So based on that you have to evaluate and measure the depreciation allowances. In assessing that particular expenses, there will be some problems in measuring national income. Then in terms of unpaid services, say for example, if a doctor treating his own son, like if he is ill, if he is giving some treatment to the son but he is not paid, he just serving his son out of his affection, right? So those will be comes under unpaid services. Those unpaid services will also not forming part of this national income. So while measuring all those things, you have to segregate each and everything, then later on you have to calculate the national income. Then moving on to the fourth difficulty is income from illegal activities, all smuggling and all stuff, gambling and all will comes under this illegal activities. These things like earning more income, but it won't considered in terms of national income. Then moving on to this production for self-consumption and change in price. Self-consumption, so production, let's take an example like agriculture sector. People are farming and doing agricultural activities for their own self-consumption. Later on, whatever is left out, what are the excess production is there, they just take that to the market and they just sell it, and that particular income will be considered as national income. Those self-consumption products will not be forming part of national income. So whatever is consumed by the farmer or the particular owner or the enterprise will not be considered as a national income, and there will be some changing in price. Okay, so changing in price, changing in price is nothing but the constant price consumer index. Let's take a consumer price index. Constant price has been fixed for a consumer will be treated as changing in price. So those consumption price index will be forming part of this difficulties in measuring national income. So changing in price is nothing but the increasing or decreasing in price of a particular product, that will be based on the price index you can able to solve, but still they have some difficulties in changing in price, and also the self consumption of production. Okay, the next difficulties we are going to see is capital gains. So we know that what is capital gains, all whatever the capital properties might be house property, you have this bonds, shares and all. So these capital goods, whatever is purchased will be sold it in the market. So those income won't be forming part of this national income. Their paid value will be lesser than the selling value. So it might be increasing maybe multiple times. Okay, so land value cost rupees, say for example 1000 per square feet, might be after 10 years might cost around 10,000, right? So those will be like having a large gap between the gains, right? So that capital gains won't be considered in while calculating national income. So capital gains won't be considered in terms of national income. So that is one of the difficulty. And the last difficulty we are going to face is statistical problems. All the data information while collecting, also you will say for example if you are in a farming sector or agriculture sector, there will be no enough data, because some people are like selling that in a market, they won't give a proper data about what they have sold, what is the quantity they have sold and what the quantity they have produced and all. So some data will be missing, so some statistical problem will be there. And we are in India having a different culture and customs, so based on that some people will be having like hiding some of their information. So those things will be considered as statistical problems. Then coming on to this national income and social accounting sector. So we know that national income will be considered as social accounts. Social account is nothing but we are the society having an account as a nation, will be having the income in that particular account, so called in national income. And under this you will be seeing this firm, household sector, government sector, rest of the world and the capital sector. So each and every sectors will be contributing towards the social accounting. Okay, so here the firm sector, whatever is produced in that particular firm will be considered, and the output of that particular firm will be considered in terms of monetary value towards the national income. And then moving on to this household sector. Household sector, they are just giving the factors of production and also consuming the goods and services. In returns they are like paying, or they just get back some income, so that will be added to the national income. And this government sector, so they also have some purchases and all, like purchases and some spendings to, so those will be considered under the national income. And then the rest of the world, nothing but the import and exports. Okay, so the rest of the world is also forming part of this accounting, social accounting sectors. And then the capital sector is the capital goods you have involved in the particular year, like nothing but the purchase of shares and bonds and all stuff comes under this capital sector. Then moving on to this national income and its welfare. Though you are doing good, though the national income is doing good, but still you should have some welfare for your nation, nothing but the goodness towards your nation. Some sector will be contributing both monetarily as well as the welfare towards the society or towards the nation. So those things will be also considered in terms of measuring national income. So what is your contribution towards national income, also to the welfare of the nation? So the first thing is that the composition of goods from different each and every sectors, what are the goods and services has been contributed, but out of that what are the incomes has come from the outputs, and along with that you have to increase the you have to improve the welfare of our nation, welfare of our economy. The economical growth also side by side it should be concentrated. Though you have some large number of production, but you still exploit some natural resources, right? So that also will be have to be taken into consideration, and you should just try to reduce that particular hazardous activity. Then moving on to this higher GDP with greater hazardous to the environment. So you if you are concentrating more on the GDP to increase the GDP, in order to do that you will be just exploiting whatever the environment is. Okay, so some of the hazardous activities has been taken place. Say for example, you have this Coca-Cola factory. Recent days the cases has been like, it's very famous case study. So you can have that as an example. The hazardous activities might improve your GDP but not your society. The societal welfare will be affected. Then moving on to this production of war goods. War goods is nothing but, recent days we have got this Rafale as a aircraft. So we got this, but it's like it's only a production of goods, like we have imported it, though it is an expenses. Some of the war Rafales, I mean nothing but the rifles, those things will be produced within our country, might be a goods which is produced, increase your income but not your welfare of your country. Then moving on to this, the next thing is increasing in per capita. Per capita income by way of employing children. You should not employ a child below certain age, right? So he should be educated for. Okay, then moving on to this, not only the children, even women are forced to go for wages. Okay, so this is what all about national income and welfare. So thank you students, see you in next session. Be safe.